She was an amazing person and we wanted something to celebrate who she was. We eventually found someone who made a very beautiful stone for Soph. This led to the idea eventually to try and help other people who might want something beautiful and help them through things like the churchyard rules and regulations. And the charity was founded 10 years later to keep this extraordinary art and craft of letter carving alive.
For me, a handcrafted memorial is an opportunity to respond to an individual client and to make something individual and unique and appropriate to that person. And I think in some ways it's a privilege to be doing that for them. There have been times where I've been working on a stone and the clients just arrive to see how the work's going and they've just burst into tears when they see it. And that can be quite moving. In a way, that for me, that's what I'm here for, is to do something that's personal, something that they really want and that they feel just, does justice to the person they've lost.
I think having a personalised memorial is very important for the remembrance of the departed, because it becomes a focal point for the remembrance of that person, and therefore it has to be beautiful, it has to be significant, and it has to be meaningful. It's, in a sense, the last gift that one gives to one's departed.
The Memorial Arts Charity found a grant from the Jerwood Foundation so that I could take somebody on, because it's very difficult to employ somebody and train them at the same time when you're a one-man band. There isn't a substitute for an apprenticeship. You can pick up a certain amount of college and that sort of thing. There's no substitute for the workshop environment.
I came to see Gary after picking up a small advert in the local newspaper, and came along and was amazed at the work that Gary was doing here, and thankfully he invited me to come and do a bit of a trial with him for a month, and after that he was pleased with how we got on and I started the apprenticeship.
I had a whole stream of people come through, that I interviewed, and they were sort of like, oh yeah, well, it's just another job sort of thing, will I get on here or not? But you actually came in and you thought, this stuff looks fantastic. And that's the sort of person I wanted to employ.
I came over and walked into the workshop and just had a look at Gary's portfolio and got really excited, like you say, and just thought you were working on your own, and the work that was going on was just incredible.
It paid me to basically spend a day a week teaching and pay you a small wage so that you could keep coming, because it's impossible for people to just, live on nothing. It made that situation possible, and I sort of feel very proud of that, because I've taken somebody who doesn't know how to do something and taught them how to do something with their hands, which really you can go on and do that for the rest of your life and earn a living with your hands. It's not dependent on somebody else.
That's right.
Which most people can't do that. They're reliant on other people's businesses in order to keep going.
It was just perfect for me, really. I came and got straight into it. Every job is different, and I'm now beginning to do design work because I'm creating jobs, memorials by artists. It's brilliant. It's really, really good.
The point of the charity is to keep the art and craft of letter carving alive, and to have young people trained in this by the masters, master letter carvers who've been really well trained themselves. who've got a passion for what they do, and they can transfer that passion. And I just think that's the most wonderful thing, if you can find someone who's going to give you inspiration and help you go through life with something you love doing. I came back one day and found this on the table in here. And what it was, a present from Charlotte Howarth and Louise Tiplady, because Louise had finished her 2-year apprenticeship, so that it was like saying thank you for the apprenticeship. I just think it's the most fantastic piece of work.
The opportunities for training are so limited in this country, and I think in all of Europe for lettering. It's such a refined and rare skill. It's part of our cultural identity in a way. It helps us to make us who we are. I think it would be a shame to lose a skill that we possess in society through lack of opportunities. I would have only been able to have an apprentice in my dreams without the Memorial Arts charity, because I think we all want to pass our skills on, but the opportunity to do it is so incredibly limited. It was brilliant because it was completely down to me how I ran the apprenticeship with very little paperwork, so it was very easy to get it up and running. And I think the opportunity to learn in a working environment offers a really good experience as well, because things have to get done. They have to get done to a certain quality, and they have to go out the door on a time scale. So working within that environment, it forces you to learn very quickly because things have to get done, and there's no, that's the reality of running a workshop.
I was a cathedral mason for many years, and I contacted Harriet, and there happened to be an apprenticeship scheme running, and so I came to Norfolk and was interviewed by Charlotte, and eventually she decided to pick me. So I came here, and it's just really helped me, and I'm still learning. I think it's a sort of a lifetime learning thing rather than, you can't just pick it up. I think it just takes years, really.
There's no room for error in letter carving. There's no outside the line. Everything has to be cut exactly so. So it's a strange type of mix of focus and sort of, I suppose you could say contemplation is a better word.
I'd come across the Memorial Arts Charity because I'd been on one of the courses that Harriet's organised, run by Eric Marlin and Tom Perkins, and I really enjoyed that.
The chapel itself is not the most practical workshop because it's so hard to heat, but it is ideal for teaching the courses in because we can fit 8 students in, and we are surrounded by this cemetery, which makes a fantastic learning resource. Problem lately has been that all the courses, which used to be the entry point into this craft, have ceased to function. So it's absolutely essential that the charity carries on the educational work which used to be done by art schools. Very importantly, beyond the apprenticeship, it gives new carvers a steady income in that first year. If you can have 2 or 3 jobs through the memorials by artists, that gives you the confidence to set up on your own.
Christine Oestreicher, she's been a vital part of the charity since it was founded in 1998. We just work as partners really on the founding of the National Collection of Contemporary Memorial Art, the Art and Memory Collection.
There is no other national collection of contemporary memorial art anywhere to be found. We chose West Dean because it does have a long tradition of involvement with the arts and crafts, and the landscape here is absolutely beautiful. There's something very lovely about the atmosphere. The people here who work here are all tremendously supportive of the project. I think most people don't know what's possible, and what the charity is really trying to do is to show people what's possible, to educate the public, to know of the existence of fine letter cutting, to know how you can find a letter cutter, to know the beauty of what they can do.
The streets ring out for every soul that thought and felt and passed through them in weakness and in strength. I thought the text itself was so strong and simple that it wanted to just be carved into a piece of rock and for people to sort of come across and read and then move on. That's the whole point, is that people see it and then they move on. Another soul has passed through. Good memorials come about through thought and reflection. For people to see a variety of work set in a beautiful setting, it shows the range of possibilities. That's the beauty of it. And the idea of having it as a sort of a permanent or semi-permanent display sort of helps underpin that. I think most people don't realise the variety of work that is available. It's not just a conventional headstone, it can be a number of ways of commemorating somebody.
If we don't bring on new people, the craft of letter cutting, the art of letter cutting will die out. And if we can develop new letter cutters and provide opportunities for them to show their work and work for them to do, then the tradition will remain alive. 4 pieces are staying here permanently, but when the rest of the pieces are gone, I hope we'll have an ongoing relationship with them over workshops. One of the carvers is doing a workshop with the local village school.
These are some of the pictures that the children at the primary school worked on. We were really lucky that the charity enabled us to spend as long as we could with the children, and I think that the benefits of spending that time with them are really clear in the work that they've produced. Sometimes when you see work like this, it makes me think, well, I could be, more adventurous with the types of forms I use, and they look beautiful the way the children have drawn them. I can be inspired by that.
Letter carvers put their heart and soul into their work, and that comes across when you look at these things. It's really uplifting, and I think this is something really important, that people do not realise that memorials can actually be uplifting. So I think that's also vital to what we're doing.
When you remember a person or a person's passing, you remember the gift that person was, and you remember the significance of their existence in the scheme of things. So you always relate the personal to the transcendent. The charity and Harriet have been essential, really, to a revival of interest in the craft as a whole. She has started a scheme which I think will become extremely important in the future. It is important now, but will become even more important. I think this is a crucial work that will be of significant importance and requires a degree of sophisticated patronage to be able to continue its work.